What's up everybody, welcome back. So the new move updates are officially live right now in Go Battle League, and even though it's officially not season 12 yet, this gives us the perfect opportunity to try out some of these Pokemon with their new movesets on the final day of season 11 as we prepare for the new season. And I'm super excited for today's video because we're going to be taking a look at a double fairy team basically consisting of Slurpuff and Galarian Weezing, both of them having the newly introduced fast move Fairy Wind, which is actually really nice for energy generation. And we're going to be using Swampert as the lead, and honestly this team ended up working out really well for me, especially Slurpuff. It's got such a diverse, versatile move pool, especially with access to Flamethrower and Energy Ball. It's such an incredible save swap and can put in so much work, especially against potential steel types that might switch into it. And then of course you have Galarian Weezing with that very unique poison fairy typing, which is going to be able to close out games once the fairy counter is out of the way, right? And of course you have Swampert in the lead, which is going to cover up for all the fairy weaknesses. And overall there were some really fun battles in here, and let's get straight into it. Okay, so moving on to the first battle here, I'm going to be leading with Swampert, with Slurpuff as the save swap and Weezing as the closer. So we have Swampert on the lead against a Medicham. So we have two better responses to Medicham, so I'm immediately going to save switch into my Slurpuff here, and they come in with their Galarian Stunfisk. Now this is exactly one of those matchups where having Flamethrower is going to come in so clutch, because Flamethrower is going to do massive super effective damage against the Galarian Stunfisk, right? And at this point I'm just going to call the Rock Slide Shield Bait. They're probably going to go just for a Rock Slide, especially considering that we still have two shields, and it is a Rock Slide Bait. This is just going to be another Rock Slide, and Rock Slide will not KO from this range. The reason I choose to not shield that is because Galarian Stunfisk is going to be able to outpace, so even if I shield, it's I'm better off not shielding that, because at this point at least I can win switch shield advantage, right? Which is absolutely massive for a fairy type to be able to win switch advantage, shield advantage rather, against a Galarian Stunfisk. I do have to shield the Earthquake here though. Unfortunately they bait me with the Rock Slide. I'm gonna have to overfarm as much as I can, and then I'm gonna throw the Hydro Cannon here. It's obviously gonna take out the G-Fisk, and I'm immediately gonna switch in my Galarian Weezing. They actually have an Azumarill in the back, so their team is actually core broken by the Galarian Weezing, especially because both Azumarill and Medicham are actually weak to it. And I do have to obviously watch out for them trying to catch a Sludge on their Medicham. And the thing is, I have to preserve a shield for a potential Psychic coming from Medicham, right? Play Rough is obviously resisted because of that poison typing, and Ice Beam, as you can see, doesn't do too much damage. So at this point, I'm going to overfarm here and then throw the Sludge right now. It actually gets the shield from Azumarill, and they make a switch into their Medicham. And now I'm just going to go for the Play Rough here. Play Rough is just going to do massive, super effective damage against Medicham. And also, I'm going to be able to get to a Sludge as well, which is really nice. Sludge is going to be able to take out the Medicham from this range, and then back in comes Azumarill. We still have a shield advantage, and all I need to do is basically get to this Earthquake here. I'm going to safely shield this up. I don't really have to. I mean, we can survive both the Play Rough and Ice Beam from this range, but just as well, I'm just going to go for the Earthquake here, and that's going to do enough neutral damage to take out the Azumarill there. So both the fairy types putting in massive work, especially Slurpuff in that mid game to be able to give us shield advantage, and of course Galarian Weezing towards endgame being able to close out breaking that Azumarill Medicham core. Moving on to the next one, we have an Altaria lead, absolutely terrible. We have two better responses. I come in with my Slurpuff. They come in with their Diggersby, and again, this is one of those situations where Energy Ball, again, is going to come in so clutch, right? It, again, does massive super effective damage against the Diggersby. And once again, I'm going to just call the Fire Punch Shield Bait here. Most people will just go for the Fire Punch Bait, especially in the two shield scenario. So luckily, I mean, I called the bait correctly there. I'm going to go for another Energy Ball right now, and Energy Ball actually gets the shield, and I'm just going to shield this up. This is probably going to be an Earthquake here. I definitely want to win switch advantage because I want to align my Weezing against their Altaria, and I'm able to get to another Energy Ball as well. This is absolutely massive right now because this is going to force their final shield, and as it does there, and also gets the defense drop, which is really nice. Now this is a huge call. This is probably going to be an Earthquake, so I am going to commit a shield here. I mean, they could have baited with Fire Punch, but that's fine. And they actually make a switch into their Walrein, which is definitely by no stretch of imagination a counter to a Slurpuff, because Energy Ball just does massive super effective damage, as you can see there, right? Near one shots the Walrein there. I'm just going to stay in, soak up the Icicle Spear right now. This is where I make a bit of a mistake. I shouldn't be staying in for as long as I'm doing right now, because I needed to come in there right away, because I want to make sure that I can align my Weezing against their Altaria before their switch timer comes back up, right? I'm just going to soak the Icicle Spear, immediately go into my Galarian Weezing right now. Their switch timer should be up anytime soon now, but that's fine. These Dragon Breaths are double resisted because the fairy typing. Sky Attack does quite a bit of damage though. They go into their Diggersby. I'm just going to fire off the Play Rough right away because again, I don't want to take any extra Mud Shot damage, because we should be able to outpace Altaria to the next move, right? Back in comes Altaria. I should be able to get to a Play Rough here. I'm barely able to get to it. Play Rough is just going to do massive super effective damage, and near one shot the Altaria. That is absolutely massive. This Fairy Wind damage is really adding up as well. They are forced to go for a Sky Attack. Sky Attack is easily going to KO the Weezing from this range, but we still have a move on Swampert, and Swampert with the Hydro Cannon reporting for cleanup duty. and pretty much closing out this game there. So pretty comfortable win, as you can see. I mean, once you can bait out, you know, their anti-fairy types, which in this case they didn't really have a hard response to it. But then again, that diverse moveset on Slurpuff really coming in super clutch in that mid game there. Moving on to the next one here, we have Swampert into a Victreebel. Probably the hardest lead that you can come across with this team. Immediately going to go into my Slurpuff here. And the good thing is that you're going to be able to get to a Flamethrower, right? Flamethrower is again going to do massive super effective damage and pretty much one-shot the Victreebel. So it's obviously going to get a shield. Obviously, Weezing actually has a decent matchup against Victreebel because it has that poison sub-typing. So it's going to resist those grass type moves. I'm going to fully wait out the switch clock here and then come in with my Weezing. They are still staying in. That's the thing about using team comps like these, is that people are not really prepared for Pokemon like Slurpuff and Weezing yet. And I call the Acid Spray, which is nice. That is neutral because of the Fairy Poison typing, and I'm able to get to the Sludge as well. And actually, that was on a CMP tie, and hopefully I can get one of the Sludge, which I'm barely able to do. This is absolutely massive because this is going to almost knock out the Victreebel. Doesn't quite take it out, but we should be able to Fairy Wind down. But this is nice, right? If they have a Victreebel on the lead, it's very likely that their backline is incredibly weak to Swampert. They come in with their Sableye, they almost for sure have a Bastiodon, right? Every Victreebel lead definitely has a Bastiodon in the back, especially at this elo range. So I'm going to overfarm by one, throw the Earthquake here because Hydro Cannon will not one-shot. Earthquake is absolutely going to one-shot the Sableye. And of course, they have a Bastiodon. They have a shiny Bastiodon in the back. And in the words of Home Slice Entry, they see the writing on the wall and concede the match there. So we are 3-0 in the set right now. Honestly, this team working out so well. I mean, honestly, they could have switched out at some point, but I guess they weren't aware of the movesets on both Weezing and Slurpuff, but that's fine. That's the, I guess the advantage of using Pokemon like these, especially early on in this in the meta, right? Again, they have an Obstagoon lead. I catch the Night Slash on my Jumpluff here, which is really nice. I beg your pardon, Slurpuff. I get the names mixed up sometimes, but that's fine. Back in comes, actually out comes Nidoqueen, which is exactly what you want, right? You want to bait out that anti-fairy type, which is their Nidoqueen in this situation. So I come in with my Swampert, throw the Hydro Cannon right away on what should be a CMP tied to the Earth Power. That's the reason why I fired it off. I'm definitely going to shield this up because Earth Power would near one-shot the Swampert from this range. I mean, I do shield that. I'm just going to go for the next Hydro Cannon right away because they're very, very close to another charge move, so I don't want to risk it. And then Hydro Cannon will be taking out the Nidoqueen from this range, and I'm immediately going to go into my Weezing here. Unfortunately, they have a Skarmory in the back, right? There's absolutely nothing that Galarian Weezing can do against a Skarmory. Galarian Weezing does have Overheat in its move pool, but you definitely want to be running the moveset of Sludge and Play Rough for that sort of versatile coverage. Because, I mean, you definitely are going to be baiting out those Steel types 9 times out of 10. Unfortunately, in this situation, they had double Fairy counters in the back, which is very bad for Weezing, right? Because unlike Jumpluff, Weezing in this situation doesn't have any coverage moves. And as you can see, even though all those moves that resisted Play Rough still did so much damage, unfortunately didn't quite put the Skarmory into Mudshot farm down range. And that's going to be very tough. It's going to be too much to do for Swampert, right? I throw the Hydro Cannon on what should be a CMP tied to the Sky Attack, unfortunately. And we're not going to have enough energy to be able to take out their Obstagoon in the back there. So very close one. Unfortunately, there's nothing much we could have done. That was like a very hard team comp to go up against. But that happens. We are 3-1 in the set right now. Moving on to the final battle of the set here. We have a Golbat on the lead. This is something you definitely want to catch on the lead because the backline is incredibly weak to Poison. I mean, even though Weezing, as I said, is only neutral against Poison, but yeah, you definitely want to have the Swampert on it. So Hydro Cannon again does massive damage against the Shadow Golbat there. I do have to respect the Shadow Ball, so I'm going to shield this up. Unfortunately, just a Poison Fang bait here, so I'm going to stay in for a bit. And they throw another Poison Fang. Is obviously, even though it's Shadowy Shadow and it is debuffed, it's still not going to KO. And I'm going to come with my Slurpuff right now, and they make a switch into their Vigoroth. Vigoroth is by no stretch of imagination a counter to a Slurpuff, and the fact that they have a Poison on the lead, there's a good chance that whatever they have in the back is incredibly weak to Fairy. They probably have an Umbreon or a Scrafty in the back, or an Obstagoon, especially with this team comp. I mean, it's very likely they do, right? I'm going to let this go through. There's no point giving up 2 shields. I definitely want to preserve at least 1 shield for my Galarian Weezing. And at this point, I'm just going to come in my Weezing here. We are double resisting those counters, especially because of the Poison Fairy typing. And I'm just going to fire off the Sludge right away because I don't want to take a Body Slam here. And they are staying in, so I'm going to shield this. So this could probably be a Bulldoze, so I have to respect it. That is going to do super effective damage. Unfortunately, just a Body Slam here, so I'm going to overfarm just a little bit more and then throw the Sludge right now. Sludge is obviously, it actually gets the shield from Vigoroth. This tells me that they're incredibly weak to Weezing in the back, which is why I try to snipe with Swampert. But they make a simultaneous swap and they catch the Hydro on their Golbat, which is unfortunate for me. And back in comes Vigoroth. Hopefully we can get to a Hydro Cannon, which we are barely able to do. That's absolutely crucial because if they had farmed down, they could have gotten off a Bulldoze on my Weezing. And they have a Scrafty in the back as expected. If they had a Golbat in the lead, there's very likely that they had a Dark type in the back. And we're going to go for a Play Rough here. We know what Play Rough is going to do against a Scrafty. It's absolutely going to destroy it here. Just one-shotting it. I mean, you do one-shot from full health anyways. But yeah. Again, once again, as you can see, both Slurpuff and Weezing just came in so clutch. I mean, put in so much work, especially in this team. I mean, I did only one set. Obviously, we're gonna have to wait and see how it performs in the longer run. But to be able to pull out wins against a lot of the top threats in the meta, especially after losing leads in the 2900s, that's pretty impressive as far as these two Pokemon are concerned. So anyways, I'm looking forward to trying out a lot more of these brand new Pokemon, I should say. Probably same old Pokemon, I guess, with brand new moves. So stay tuned for that. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.